Hi everybody and welcome to SA Rugby Magazine's preview of the upcoming Wales versus South Africa Test 2 at Bloemfontein. Got Scott Gibbs, the legend, and the baby legend Z. Going to give me some perspective on who they think is going to win this game and why. Let's start with Scott. First, at the beginning of the week, without seeing the team sheets and everything else, the Springboks were favoured by 15.5 points. After the teams have been announced now, the Boks are only favoured by 9.5 on the handicap. So that tells you a lot. The market's moved 40% in the favour of Wales. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think so. Given the solidity of that performance on Saturday, where they lost, at the very last kick, and the fact is that, Jacques and Rassi's decision to change it up for the second test in Bloem with a kind of all-star team really put everybody on alert. The 42-man squad now gives him the opportunity to triage certain positions, but I don't buy into the factor that this devalues the second test at all. When you look at former World Rugby Player of the Year, current URC Player of the Year, Van Roos, Eben Etzebeth Coetzee, Premiership Player of the Year. This is a very, very, very strong Bok team, and in its own right, could go down as one of the strongest Boks teams if they do what they're capable of doing. But it has to be a collective. There has to be this cooperation that you find a balance and rhythm within your own game rather than play as a group of individuals, which I think has affected the betting. Going back to Wales, obviously forced from an injury perspective, with Thomas Francis going out with a very sad injury. So Thomas comes in to bolster that front row. Not a lot of change. Pivac wasn't going to get distracted by anything because, as I said, it was a very, very good performance. From a bravery perspective, from a tactical perspective. Yeah, so Thomas comes in, from an injury perspective, comes in to create a comfortable front row. Listen, the front five have to put it in a shift like they did last week, and they will rely heavily on the bench. So this will be a 23-man effort on Saturday in Bloem to secure that ever elusive first away victory against the Springboks. And I believe they can do it. I really believe they can do it. But it's going to take an almighty effort. Lydiat, Rafael Faletau, again, very strong back row presence. They chopped low, tackled low. They were very effective on the gain line last weekend.
Is there anybody in that squad that's missing that you would put in this?
For the fact is that you have to go up another level and you have to maybe find another dimension in your game. I think nothing to do with Lydiat's performance on Saturday and what he's done in the Welsh jersey. That there's either, Zels and I were talking, bringing someone in like Basham who's just had a spectacular 12 months of rugby that just offers something different. We like to see these one in a quarter century players come along, and I think he is one of those that is not only very good at attack, gets in the right positions, but has a fleet of foot and a real rugby brain to craft ideas and can beat people one-on-one, and is superbly physical in the tackle. And I think the tackle area now has to go up another level, and maybe in another level. And the fact is that you maybe are not able to outsmart the Boks by just chopping them loads. You have to now start to look at how they're going to smarten up, because taking them at the root, taking them down. They know that's if they don't do that correctly, and Rafael can't get over the ball to slow it down, then that gives the Boks the ability to play quick front forward, go forward ball, which is dangerous when you look at Esterhuizen coming off the second shift and so on and so forth. Plenty of width on the perimeter. So I think now the onus has to shift a little bit more to the middle upper body where you have to protect the ball, because I think that may work in favour for Wales as well, because what Wales doesn't want is a scrum fest. They want to minimise that to between 5 and 8 scrums on the day, and in order to do that, you have to be, you have to have your discipline around the field. You have to be very, very good at retaining the ball, and making sure that when you are trying to stop it, you can kind of turn it over without fumbling it, because otherwise, as soon as it reduces to a kind of short arm and a scrum, it's gonna fatigue and tire out the Welsh scrum attack. But I think and I'll finish by saying this, that Cuthbert comes in on the wing. Talk of Adams maybe having a little twinge. Cuthbert is enormously dangerous in broken field situations. Marauding, galloping runs would be suited at the high, at that altitude in Blum. But I think it's a level of production. So Tompkins again, I think, has to have these little short darting runs, targeting Marcel Coetzee, because I think if you target him, make him the tackler, then you can negate this fact that he can get over the ball and slow it down, because with Peter Steph Dutoy and Evan Russo kind of vertically challenged, difficult for them to get over and slow it down and snatch it. George North, for me, has to have at least 12 touches this game, has to concentrate on dominating that 15-metre channel, putting Jesse Creel as opposite number under enormous pressure inside and out to make him change his shoulder position and feet position, because I think we can really then see dividends in that 15 to 5-metre channel with the space and the footballing ability outside. But it's, again, level of work rate, level of repeatability, stay in the game, be in the game, and finish stronger. And then that is the hallmarks of what it's going to take. Normally what it's going to take to beat the Boks on Saturday.
It's funny that the odds have moved so much. When you look at, for me, Elton Yankees, who had a shocker last week, and his touches alone, or missed touches, probably accounted for 15 of Wales's points. So you've got Pollard coming in for him, you've got Peter Steph Dutoy coming back, you've got Eben Etzebeth. Those three alone, are as good, if not better, than last week's players. So I don't know. I think there's a bit too much of a move. I still think the Boks have enough in the tank to beat Wales, and I think that 29 points last week that Wales scored was about 15 or 14 more than I'd anticipated, and I think we'll see a much lower scoring game this weekend. But what do you say, Z? I mean, you're going around the office. People are just in disbelief. This trader, this little mini Fusto, which means little hard man in Italian. Right. Turncoat. I mean, people are disgusted.
I mean, I think that's a bit of a stretch. I've been wrong before, and I'll be wrong again. But I believe that Wales are going to get their first win on South African soil this weekend. That's my gut feel. And it's got nothing to do with the quality of the players in this team. It's just that they've never played together before. And cohesion is a massive indicator of success. This team has 0 minutes together on the field. I agree 100% with Scott on the scrum importance. I think that could bail out a lot of what's coming from South Africa. If they can dominate the scrum and get field position from that, it will save them from the high error rate that's going to occur from a team that's never played together and a back three that want to run every time they touch the ball. Warwick Gelant and Fussy, and to a lesser extent Kirby Arnser, are going to go guns blazing at Wales. So the selection of Cuthbert's an interesting one for me. If Wales can stick to the plan that got them as far as it did in the last World Cup, if they can stick to their contestable plan amid the frenzy of what's going to come from South Africa's counter-attack, I think they'll win this quite comfortably. If they take the bait and they try and take the Boks on at their new game, their counter-attacking game, Gelant, Fussy, Arnser will tear them to shreds. So, but like I said, I think the scrum is going to be vital there.
The scrum is out. The scrum has the only way I think the scrum can work, unless there's an enormous amount of confidence in their ability, because they sensed something last week that we can take it to another level. Is that it's got to be a clean strike and at Faletau's feet, and he has to get off the blocks and get into 9, 10, 12 position. And that, again, another great strategy when you think from my own history as the game, is that when you're in scrum defence and you know that there's someone like Faletau there and the ball is coming quick, your decision making on eyes and shoulders and feet position are all concentrated on what's going out here. But if you know that's coming, there's a real distraction, and then you're focusing there. And of course, you know that if he peels off in a nice big arcing run, you are the only person that can come in to stop that. What you do then, he plants his feet,
Heels on the ground.
fix Esterhazy, and again, he's taken out of the game automatically. So I think tactically there's granular elements of the tactical plan that have to work. Of course, you have to have a contingency.
Yeah.
And the fact is that I think it's all about work rate, sharing the workload, and having greater production from 9 through 15. Because yes, there's going to be an onus on the kick chase game, in being clean in defence, but also being bold from attack. And that's where Cuthbert, Williams, and Zamet have to look at beating the first man. Because I think once you can do that, there's very little secondary in World Rugby that can chase you down. So, big pressure on them to play and not play within themselves, play with an enormous amount of control and some comfort. Because as you said, the intangible is that, this is just a side on paper.
Correct.
As good as it is,
Correct.
It's a side on paper. They've had very little preparatory time, so... I think that's what reflects in the betting, and this is a great opportunity for Wales on Saturday. And also, it makes this Test series infinitely more interesting because we want to sell out the Cape Town Stadium a week later. So come on, guys, get it going.
Yeah, correct.
Speaks beautifully. Yeah. Granular,
I'm going to go look those words up later.
So give me a score.
I'm going to say that Wales win this by 4 points, and I'm going to say it's going to be quite high scoring. So I'm going to say 31-27. That might be a bit high.
You know what? I'm with Zels on this because I don't think this is going to be a shutout either way, and not because of just the all-star nature of the game. I just think it's going to take 35 points for Wales to take that elusive victory on Saturday. It's well within them. We saw three well-crafted tries, or 2 well-crafted tries on Saturday, and 1 opportunistic try. And I think the level of production, the level of anticipation on Saturday has to exceed last weekend. And I think there'll be a genuine 23-man assault about we're not going to want to stay in this game. Let's put this to bed. And I think it's going to be something like 35-25 to Wales.
Wow.
Lovely.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go against you guys. Go against the great Scott Gibbs and the great Zelim. I think this is going to be an incredibly physical game. I know it's dry up there and it'll be pretty hard. Make it ideal for a high-scoring game. But history just tells me that these two teams don't score lots of points.
Yeah.
Last week I was proven wrong, like I have been a lot in rugby this year. But I just think that South Africa win this game 23-15.
Okay, you got 8 points for the box.
8 points. Yeah, I think that I think it's going to be a close game. I'm staying away from the handicap. I'll look for total points in this game at low, depending if they come in anywhere near what they came in last week, and probably double down. But should be a good game. Hopefully it sets up. Hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Wales win. I'm Welsh. But lived here for 26 years, so South Africa my second team. I think it'll be a good game, but I just think South Africa, it'll be a fiercely physical confrontation, and the Boks will take it.
Nice.
Traitor. Guys, thanks for your insight.
Thanks, Gibbs.